What's up, everybody? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk, and I'm back with another video today. We're going to be talking about the AFC North. Now, the last video we talked about the AFC West, and like usual, we're going to kind of go through every team, no particular order, and then we're going to go ahead and break down the rankings and how teams will probably estimated to be finished in this upcoming season. But before we get into this video, make sure if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel, and make sure if you do like the content, make sure you kind of share with all your buddies out there, especially with the season fastly approaching. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Like I said, no particular order, but we're going to break down the AFC North. So where I like to start is, first of all, the AFC North is probably the best division in football right now on paper. Like that's what it seems like, right? There might be another division out there that might be in contention, but right now, if you look at all four teams in this particular division, they all have a strong case to make the playoffs, which, without being said, it is not it's not far-fetched, I will say. So, but the first team we're going to talk about out the gates is the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Cincinnati Bengals have been one of the best teams in the AFC as of recently. Now, I know the last couple of years they've had some injuries. Joe Burrow went down last season, which was a huge injury for them. Hopefully, he can kind of come back and bounce back from that injury that he suffered last year and propel this team into the next stratosphere. Now, they've already made a Super Bowl. They've been to 2 AFC Conference Championship games. So really, all that's left for them now is to go out and win it. Now, from the thing where I want to start with them is the quarterback play, right? Joe Burrow, arguably, if not the best quarterback in that division, or in contention with Lamar Jackson as being the best quarterback in that division. But there's no denying that he is a talented quarterback, and he will take the Bengals as far as he will go, right? We've seen that in the past with him. Now, the biggest question mark for him is health and availability. Now, like I just mentioned before, he has been missing some time recently due to injuries, hasn't had a real full preseason in quite some time. He got the new hairdo. However, though, the offense, I think, is going to be okay as long as they stay healthy. You still have Jamar Chase. They still got T. Higgins. Now, Joe Mixon has left to the AFC South to be with the Houston Texans, but they did add, I believe, running back Zach Moss and another running back, Brown. I forgot his first name off the top of my head, but a nice little tandem there. I think will be okay. Offensive line, I'm not really a big fan of. I still think there's some question marks there, but I think they have what it takes there to sustain a good season, right? This team, I believe, won, I forgot how many wins they've had last year, but double digits for sure, if I'm not mistaken. And off the top of my head, I believe it. No, I take that back. I'm sorry. The Bengals did not win double digits. Excuse me, but they finished last in the division last year. But they still won 9 games. Oddly enough, right? Without having your quarterback majority of the year. Winning 9 games for them is a lot, right? So I think for sure moving into the next stratosphere for them, this is arguably still a 10 to 12 game winning team, right? So defensively, for the most part, I like how they can get after it. They can got really good bookend defensive ends there that can really get after it. Middle linebacking play is pretty solid there. Cornerback play is okay, right? But this team is going to be known for their offense, right? Getting the ball out to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, guys like that. That's where they're going to hang their hat on is on the offense side of things. And honestly, I have them, winning 10 to 12 games just because of Joe Burrow, right? He's possibly even worth more games than that. But definitely this team is going to go as far as their health will take them, right? This team has been bitten by the injury bug rather recently with a lot of their star players. And so that's going to be something that we have to watch for. But looking them on paper and just overall, I really think that this team has a chance to really do some things. So that's my review on the Bengals there. And moving on, the next team I would like to talk about is an interesting one, right? We got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, they have 2 quarterbacks. And for those who follow football or know football and kind of speak the nomenclature, when you have 2 quarterbacks, you really have no quarterback. Now, they went ahead and acquired Russell Wilson and Justin Fields from the Chicago Bears. So now they have 2 pretty solid quarterbacks in the room. Now, as far this team, where they got it right at and where they usually get it right at is wide receiver. George Pickens. They just drafted the kid out of Michigan. I forgot his name off the top of my head, but he's a really outstanding wide receiver from Michigan. So I don't. They're good at that. Like that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are known for having really, really good wide receivers. And I think that's going to be a bright spot for this team. Now, what I did like what they did this offseason was bolstered at offensive line, right? They went ahead and got the kid out of here, my hometown here in Vegas, Troy Fatu, I think is that his name, Fatu, something like that. Really good player out of University of Washington. He's going to be playing tackle there on the offensive line, and they went ahead and got some other guys for the interior lineman, which is a really good plus side for them. That means I think they're going to be committed to running the football as well, and I think they can do that with guys with Najee Harris and the other kid that they got there, Warren. I think that's going to be a nice little tag team there, kind of like the Bengals there. But it's all going to boil down to the offense, right? And the quarterback play, right? Who will be the starter? My gut feeling is going to be probably Russell Wilson is going to get the first nod, first couple of weeks. And if it doesn't work out for him, then they'll insert Justin Fields. Now, they do have a new offensive coordinator in Arthur Smith, who does like to move the pocket around a little bit. Russell Wilson isn't the same kind of player he once was before. Justin Fields is that kind of guy, but he's not like a traditional quarterback where he likes to, look down the field. He can read through his progressions. Justin Fields, to me, sometimes feels like he's a one-read kind of quarterback. If it's not there, he's ready to take off and run. That's not that sustainable in the National Football League, so we'll see what happens there. But one thing I will say, the defense is going to be good. Of course, you got your boy out there, TJ Watt. He's going to be out there doing his thing. They still got Minka Fitzpatrick back there in the secondary, and the linebacking core is pretty solid there. And their front four is really good too. So their defense is going to be good. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers way. Play good defense. It's hard to count this team out per se. I know there's a lot of questions offensively right now, especially because of the quarterback situation. But Mike Tomlin, he always has his team in contention. Whether you feel like they're going to be contenders is one thing, but being in contention, they're always going to be in the playoff contention for sure. And in such a difficult division, they do well against their rivals in this division, right? They'll usually split or maybe sweep a season series with a lot of these teams that they do play. So for me, it's hard to count them out because of that whole factor that they just don't. They're not losers altogether. Like they rarely finish 500 and below because of Mike Tomlin, right? I think he's never had a losing season, if I'm not mistaken. And drop a comment if I am mistaken, let me know, please. But it's just one of those teams that you just can't discount. So for me, I believe they won 10 games last year. I don't know. I think they may take a dip. I mean, maybe slightly. I got them maybe between 8 and 10 wins for the year. But it's just going to boil down to the quarterback play again. And you're going to hear me say that a lot because it's the God honest truth. You got to have a good quarterback in this league to be successful and win games. So, but I have them between 8 and 10 wins. I still think it's a good football team. But they just going to have to figure out who's going to be the quarterback. And if that quarterback is who is selected, is going to take them past where they need to go. So we'll have to wait and see. All right. Next team I want to talk about is the Baltimore Ravens. Listen, last couple of years, they've been the team in this division. Probably the second best team in all of the AFC. At least top 3 in the all National Football League, right? And led by their superstar quarterback, MVP, 2-time MVP, Lamar Jackson. Listen, my only beef with them is that they do well in the regular season, and then come post time, it's like, what happens, right? So hopefully they can kind of get over that hump. But just looking at it from a personnel standpoint, they have everything that they need. I mean, you just acquired Derrick Henry in the offseason. Now, I don't think Derrick Henry is going to be the Derrick Henry of old because they don't need him to be that. They just need him to maybe rush the ball 15 to 20 times a game, and you'll let Lamar Jackson rush about 8 to 10 times, if that, and let him use his feet to do what he needs to do to win these games. So Derrick Henry will be a very viable piece for them come postseason, right? Because we're just going to assume this team's they're going to make the postseason. They just are, right? Now, when you get into that postseason and you got a guy like Derrick Henry, you can start handing the ball off to him, especially, guys on the other teams, they're going to be hurt, they're going to be injured, they're going to be tired. That's the kind of guy you want. And that's kind of what they were missing in the playoffs last year. For whatever reason, they went away from running the ball. I don't know why. They decided Lamar Jackson needed to be a passer in that championship game against the Chiefs, and the rest is history, right? So adding a guy like Derrick Henry is for sure a key component for them and their future success. Now, offensive line, kind of a little nervous there, right? Ronnie Stanley, another Vegas guy, Bishop Gorman. He's got to stay healthy. He hasn't really been able to do that the last couple of years. Phenomenal talent, though, when he is healthy. but he's got to be available. That's the thing for them. But offensive line, I'm a little concerned there, but I think they will be able to overcome that. Defensively, missing some guys there. You got Patrick Queen left to the the rivals there in Pittsburgh. But I still think they have enough. Now, will they be able to get after the quarterback? Maybe not so much so, but still a very solid unit, led by their all pro corner over there. It's still a good unit for sure. But again, this team is going to be driven off of running the football and the play of Lamar Jackson. Regular season, no problem. This team can easily win, 12, 13 games. No problem. I can see them outright just destroying a lot of their opponents, but it's going to boil down to them in the postseason. And then they're one of those teams where it's like, I don't even care about the regular season anymore, especially for Lamar Jackson and his legacy. Now, going into last season, a lot of Ravens fans got on me because I said, like, you guys are paying this guy. You got to start seeing Super Bowls. Right, you got to start winning AFC Conference Championship games, and I'm going to stand by that. I really believe that's what you need to see from him. You can't just win AFC North Division titles anymore. You got to start winning, at least at a minimum, getting to the Super Bowl, and that means winning an AFC Conference Championship game. So it's boom or bust for them at this point because they're such a talented team and they have a small window. Right, we don't know how long Lamar Jackson can continue to do what he's doing, running around, making plays. You never know. He could always be one play away from getting hurt or injured because of his legs or whatever the case may be. But definitely one of the most talented teams in all of the National Football League. All right. Now, finally wrapping up with the Cleveland Browns. This is a very interesting team, right? On paper, as usual, they have some of the best talent from top to bottom, right? Offensive side, defensive side, phenomenal talent, right? Well, we'll start on the offensive side. I like the offensive, so we'll start there. Of course, the biggest question in everyone's mind is Deshaun Watson, right? Will he be the guy we remember back in Houston before his legal troubles, and some injuries, right? He hasn't quite really lived up to the billing since he's been in Cleveland. And this is a make it or break year. I think after this year, we'll know for sure. Now, I think a lot of people are still kind of like, no, we got to give him a chance. This is it. I really feel like he's been in the league long enough now. This is going into his third season, if I'm not mistaken, into Cleveland. I know he had some injuries, but it's time to put up or shut up with this guy now. Me personally, did not think, even when he left Houston, I did not think he was one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. And a lot of people looked at me and they were like, dude, you don't know what the heck you're talking about. But I'm not going to say I was right. He's had some things that has maybe possibly derailed his career. But I'm not saying he's not talented. He is talented. I won't deny that. He did have something in Houston, but I just don't think it was something that was like rivaling even a Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, which, a lot of people can't rival that. But the amount of money that Cleveland paid for him, it wasn't worth it, right? And I think Cleveland is looking at it now like with some buyer's remorse, especially if it doesn't pan out for them this season. Now, they did make the playoffs last year. They were a double-digit winning team last year. They won 11 games and they finished second in the division. So, good for them. Excuse me. But it's going to come down to Deshaun Watson, right? You got really good weapons outside, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, and they traded for Jerry Jeudy, who's another kind of guy that's like borderline. Maybe some people think he can play. Some people can't think he can play. So he has a lot on his plate there to kind of maybe prove a lot of doubters wrong. Nick Chubb, if he can come back healthy, one of the best running backs in the National Football League. Offensive line, pretty solid there. I like what they got there with McCon. I forgot the guy's name. Wills. He's coming off. He's in a contract year for himself too, so he's got a lot to prove there. Defensively, Myles Garrett, all talented, all world, all galaxy, one of the best, if not the best, defensive player in all of the National Football League. So I like what they have to offer there. Their secondary is probably one of the best, if not the best, in all of the National Football League as well. So they have what it takes, and their coach isn't bad either, right? Kevin Stefanski has done his thing there. So, it's a make or break for a lot of these guys, but the Browns are a team that on paper can challenge the Ravens, but I don't know if it's like a curse. I don't know what's going on with them, but they're just one of those teams where you just really gotta lock in with them, right? Or they have to lock in because, they feel like they have what it takes. And I think a lot of us do. And a lot of people hop on that bandwagon there with them. And every year they kind of they fall short, unfortunately. And that's the Cleveland Browns. So, but again, just to recap, I think it's their division to lose in a sense, them and the Ravens. I think, and I'm kind of giving you a little foreshadowing to my predictions, but talent wise, they have some of the best talent in all of the league. And so can they just kind of put it together, sustain it, be consistent, and it's all going to rest on the shoulders of Deshaun Watson and see what he does moving forward. So, okay. So though that's my little kind of synopsis breakdown of all the teams in this division, and which I think is probably the best division in all of football. Now let's talk about some predictions. First and foremost, listen, to me, this was a no-brainer. The Ravens should win this division. So I got them coming in first place. I mean, simple as that. Not much to be said about that anymore. It is what it is. And then secondly, I have the Cleveland Browns coming in at second. Again, this could be a 10 to 12 winning team, right? It depends on the quarterback play. So I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to give them at least 10 to 12 wins this year, kind of matching or improving on what they did last year. So I got them finished second. And then the kind of I wouldn't say a surprise, I got the Bengals coming in third, right? I kind of flip-flop in my mind with this a little bit, because I don't know what Joe Burrow is going to be like, right, throughout the year. Will he be able to stay healthy? And I almost had the Bengals at second, right? But I'm going to give them third. I think they can challenge to win, not to win the division, but at least be finished second. But this is such a tough division, but I do like the Bengals coming in and maybe winning about at least 9 to 10 games this year, especially if Joe Burrow can stay healthy. But I got them finishing third. I'm kind of still riding the Cleveland Browns Kool-Aid. They might make me look stupid in the next couple months, but it is what it is. That's why we do these shows or these videos for you guys to critique and comment. It is what it is. It's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But I do have the Bengals finishing third, although I think they have the better quarterback than the Browns, but I don't know. Maybe something in my mind is telling me the Browns may get over the hump this year a little bit and see what happens for there. And rounding out the division, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers, and someone's got to come in last, right? And they may prove me wrong. Again, they're, like the Bengals too, where, the Browns, where a lot of people, have a lot of faith in them. Some people may see the Steelers finishing second. I still have a lot of question marks surrounding the quarterback play. That's my only thing with them. I like the coach. I like the defensive scheme. I like what they do. They can get after the quarterback. But it's who's going to be the quarterback, right? Is it going to be Russell Wilson? Is it going to be Justin Fields? Russell Wilson isn't quite the same player he once was before. And Justin Fields, to me, still has a lot to prove as a quarterback. Now, we know he's a tremendous athlete, but is he a true NFL quarterback? That is going to be seen, because he's going to get a chance. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to get a chance this upcoming season. So there you have it. We have the Ravens, Browns, Bengals, and Steelers to round out the AFC North. It's a tough division, man. Like I said before at the top of the video, all these teams can make the playoffs. I think there's a case for that. But someone's got to finish last and someone's got to finish first. But those are my predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure you like and subscribe and also share the content. Be on the lookout for my next video. We're going to stay in the AFC. We're going to head over to the AFC South and talk about that. One of my favorite teams coming out of that is the Houston Texans. So I'll break them down on the next video. So until next time, this is your boy Clutch Sports Talk. Like I always say, never settle till the work is done. We'll see you guys later. Peace.